beware what goes bump in the night. It may be a Kickstarter out to steal money from your wallet. We're here to shed some light on these Kickstarters in our Kickstarter Pickstarter for July 13th, 2020.
Starting off spooky with The Night Cage from Smirk and Dagger Games. This is a cooperative tile-laying game in which players have become trapped in a dark labyrinth filled with horrors and mystery, and you're only going to be able to see in front of you as far as your candle can light. So that's represented by the tiles that you'll be drawing randomly from a stack and placing into the areas around you. And as you travel, you'll be able to uncover new ones, but the ones that you leave behind, if you can no longer see them, they're not in your range of vision, they're going to go away. So wherever you go on the board, even if you revisit spaces you've been to before, they could really change. And you're all attempting to find keys. Each player needs to get a key and then find a gate in order to escape. You're going to run into things like monsters that can attack you, or pits that you can fall through into other areas, all kinds of obstacles that you'll need to avoid. And there's also a ticking clock, because if the whole stack of tiles runs out, then your candles are all going to go out and you're going to be trapped in the darkness forever. Even if just one of you isn't able to escape, you will lose. So this one's definitely one of those games that I think is all about the theme. They've got some very cool, kind of minimalist, but still very spooky artwork and creepy stuff and all over the components, also the Kickstarter page and the video and everything. But it's a pretty straightforward, simple kind of tile placement game, I think. Definitely with some, there's randomness, because you have no idea what's going to come up. You don't know which direction you're going to go. But I think what also made it really interesting is you can choose whether you're going to move or not at any given time. So for instance, if you hold a key, you're only allowed to have one of those keys. So if you find another tile with a key, but nobody else is around, you might want to stay there, because if you leave and you go too far, that tile's going to disappear. So there's some interesting decisions to be made within kind of a relatively simple game.
Now, so this is cooperative.
Fully cooperative, yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure, because I also know this comes from the people who did Cutthroat Caverns. So I didn't know if it was just like, I got out of the maze, I'm locking you all in, see ya.
No, it'd be pretty easy to make a variant where you just don't care about the other players. You just get your key and get out. If you'd like to get trapped in the Night Cage and see if you can find your way out, you can back it now for $35. They also have some other tiers for stuff like a soundtrack and some special candles that flicker, whatever you want to look at.
We're not quite done sending shivers down your spine. This time we're talking about a game called The Shivers. This is a game when you'll be playing as family members trying to solve a mystery in a haunted house. What's interesting about this game is it's sort of a pop-up game. Similar to a pop-up book, you'll unfold the board and slide a card in. So you'll have a little living room, for example, maybe a crypt, and you'll have these different rooms come together, and it's up to you to be able to search the room for clues, looking maybe behind different shelves. Depending on the card you slipped in behind, you'll see different items, and solve the mystery and maybe what extraterrestrial or unusual mystical creature has caused this haunting. Now, it has multiple episodes, and they say each episode plays through an hour, but you have a lot of different combinations. It just seems like such a weird game that I haven't seen something similar to before. I mean, there is that mystery solving, but we really haven't had like a pop-up style.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing that I look at that immediately I think grabs your attention and makes me think of being a kid and playing with pop-up books, or even something like the 1313 Dead End Drive, where any of those games where maybe it's not necessarily the pop-up thing, but it has that 3D diorama kind of feel to it. It feels like a toy that I want to explore and play with. So, I mean, part of my interest in this maybe is just because it looks so fun.
You also have unique characters with unique perks and weaknesses, and an actual dry erase board, which will also help entertain you. Like, all right, I think I found a rope and a vase, I'm really curious to see how this actually plays. I hope that there's more to it than just the pop-up, and it looks like there is. They have magnets and stuff too. I think this will be the kind of thing that you and I would probably enjoy playing. Now, The regular version of the game is $65. It comes with all the pop-up stuff, but there's a deluxe version for $95, which come with, I believe they're Kickstarter exclusive family members of the family pet dog and the neighborhood cat. But it also includes extra room and stuff, which didn't have the Kickstarter thing, so I assume that would come later in a different expansion. But let us know if you think this is an interesting game that you're looking to back.
Whale Riders is from Grail Games and designer Reiner Knizia. The guy can't stop designing games. He refuses to stop. And this is yet another one. You are all riding on the backs of ice whales in a frozen environment just before really harsh winter comes. So you're trying to make the most money that you can, travel all the way to one end of the coast and back while picking things up along the way. It's a race game, essentially, but as you travel, you have to decide when is the best time to stop and try to maybe fulfill certain contracts that you have. Basically, the cards will ask you to get different types of resources that you can buy as tiles at different ports and trade them in for more points. Or if you just want to keep going and try to get back before everybody else, and when you do get back, you'll get the chance to purchase these pearls, which are also very valuable. Very simple game. It's 45 minutes was their estimated playtime, and if you look at it, it's just a not too big of a board. You go from one end and then back to the other end. But Reiner Knizia, obviously, I don't need to explain, but maybe I do, but he's made a lot of games that a lot of people really like. And this looks like, sometimes I think a simple race, as long as there's a little more to it than that, the thrill of trying to decide where you can afford to spend your time versus getting somewhere before the other players can be satisfying when done well.
So would this be more like Tokaido, where you really decide how far you move a turn, or is this like Monopoly when you roll dice?
No, yeah, you decide whether you want to move or not. So that's up to you. I suppose you probably could end the game pretty early if you just keep moving.
I'm done. What? We didn't even leave. Yeah, I went there and back. Now, but can I write elephant koi fish?
I'm afraid not. Just whales. Just whales in this one. Now, this one, it's not that expensive. Around $19 in American dollars. And for a little bit extra, they have an exclusive game just for the Kickstarter. It's the Whale Riders card game. It's actually, I think, a reskin of an older Reiner Knizia design. But I think it's like just if you add on another $10 or so, you get that too. So pretty reasonable. Check out the Whale Riders.
Jiangshi, Blood in the Banquet Hall is an RPG when you'll be taking on the role of Chinese immigrants in the 1920s. This is already hard enough then, but you'll be running a restaurant by day, but dealing with the Jiangshi or hopping vampires by night. This RPG works because you are a family trying to make sure your restaurant runs and people are satisfied during the day, but you're going to have to deal with these mystical creatures at night and deal with dreams, trying to understand them, as well as, not trying to turn yourself. It just looks really cool and well done. Like one of the ways you roll, deal with things, you roll dice, and fours actually cancel out your highest roll, because 4 is a very unlucky number. And just that, it just looks like a very interesting twist to RPG. It's not just, let's just kill the monster. No, you're running a restaurant too and having to deal with all the stress of that and customers, which some may argue are worse than vampires, while also dealing with those vampires at night.
No, this looks awesome. I really love the premise and style of this. I love anytime, you mix genres like this and dealing with the supernatural and the mundane. Like I think like the best horror mediums that that exists in TV or movies or whatever is usually the combination of those two things. And yeah, this looks cool. I'm in. I'm on board. I'm ready to run this restaurant and fight vampires.
Now, like many RPGs, there's a print and play level at $20, but if you want a physical copy, you can start at the $65 pledge level.
Lastly, I gotta mention Puzzle Postcards Season 2 from the Enigma Emporium. This is a company that has made a bunch of puzzle postcards in the past that I've really enjoyed. I wasn't even aware that they were collectively known as a Season 1, but now we're getting Season 2. And whereas in the past they came out in separate campaigns for each set, this one has 4 sets included all in one, so you're going to get them straight away. The idea is you're joining this secret initiative that studies secrets of the world. And after you are allowed in, then you'll be solving puzzles to discover things about cryptozoology and all kinds of other mysterious subjects. The postcards are given to you in an envelope. You get all of them at once. You don't have to wait for them in the mail or anything. But there's not really any kind of direction in this game. It's meant for one player. Could be more players working together, but you're just looking at it and you try to figure out, where are the puzzles? How do I solve them? A lot of times with the past ones, you would have to go online and look up information, sometimes even find websites and enter information that you discovered, crack codes, solve ciphers, things like that. I've been really, really enjoying these games. In fact, I have one of them is right over here next to me right now because I've been working on it for the past few weeks. I think it's their latest set of postcards. And if you like any kind of puzzles of the escape room variety, cracking codes, that kind of thing, I definitely recommend them. And the fact that, again, it's like 4 in 1 is very exciting to me, because the other ones kind of had a storyline in a way that you actually got to experience as you went through it. So I'm excited to see how they do that in this season of the game.
Well, there you go. I mean, we already have an endorsement because Jonathan already has it right there with him, so to speak.
That's right. I mean, it can't get better than that. So who knows what the puzzles will hold for this new version. You can get just one of the sets, which I think is 5 postcards in each one, with a bunch of different puzzles on it, for $13, or you can get the whole season together for $45.
Those are our picks for this week. A lot of dark and foreboding ones, I guess. Is it Summerween or Halloween?
Yeah, it's Halloween.
But in addition, we want to quickly shout out, it's not out yet, but hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have our Dead Reckoning preview out, so you can check out our thoughts on that. But of course, there are plenty of other Kickstarters. Let us know if you're backing any of these and what kind of dark, mysterious things are you getting involved in. You can let us know in those comments down below.
Yeah, it's also maybe your final day to back Role Player Adventures, which we got to do a last-minute interview with the creators for. So you can check that video out, too. Until then, though, guys, keep on backing. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
This was Kickstarter Pickstarter.
We want you to like and subscribe, and if you have the chance, take a look at our Patreon.
Thank you for being a friend. Subscribe to our channel and back again. Okay.